Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. I am back with KMax, and we are back at the asteroid base.
Woohoo!
I'm
We
back.
made it.
Yes, we made it. It took a bit. The ship is, yeah. We talked about that. It is a bit. It's a bit more problematic than using a normal sized ship, I would say. We could just use the back hangars to go over to the asteroid base and see.
Okay.
Don't forget to close your visor.
Let me see here.
Although the ship
I must be in
performed,
better shape than you, because I'm catching up to you. I'm
I
running.
don't use the sprint button.
Okay.
That's one thing that people always tell me. There's a sprint button. Use that, and I don't use the sprint button. I don't have any. I'm not in any hurry here.
No.
So, and if I want to go fast, I just fly. We wanted to compare the Duchessa when it comes to size, and we could maneuver her over. She's a lot more maneuverable.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
See, and you changed her a lot with the atmospheric thrusters and all that stuff, and I tried to bring her back to her former glory. The only thing I always do is bring in the candy cane that
Now
every.
that's something I've been wondering about all this time, and you know,
the ex-
call me whatever you want, but I could never understand the candy cane or where that came from. I know I've seen a lot of really sci-fi fantasy craft that people will create that have things like that on there, and
so
I don't know if that's from a certain
it's
sci-fi series or
it
something or
is it definitely is. It's Homeworld. The Homeworld games have
Oh, okay.
some of these, and I implemented that in Starmade, because in Starmade for the longest time the energy system worked in a way where you basically built an energy system over the X, the Y, and the Z axes, and the more you could build out on the energy system, the more energy you had. And
Oh,
so I
okay.
used on one of my big ships, I built the candy cane to have an antenna that goes out into the front, and then I said it's a sensor to keep the sensor array far away from the back thrusters and all the nuclear power reactors. And
It works for me.
it was just there to extend the power system to a lot
Fantastic.
far more in the front. And now I tend to just out build one on every ship that I have. And for example, for the big ship, in the front of the antenna, for the mothership, there's a built-in repair unit. So you can stick a built-in repair unit into an area where you normally wouldn't get the ship into, have a lot more reach with the built-in repair unit, and you can gather up materials or something like that, or grind down ships you can get to without having to get too close to the ship itself, for example.
That is okay, awesome. It all makes sense now. And that actually is an excellent idea for the candy cane on the that large ship.
Yeah.
Have you even named it yet?
No, no, doesn't have a name. The last one was the
Doesn't have a
Empress,
name yet.
and it's at the moment it's just the mothership, so it has a name. I can see it on the antennas and all that stuff. But the mothership still waits for a name, because Empress was a really big name, and now this thing is a lot bigger. So let us fly the Duchessa over there to see
Okay.
how she compares to the big ship. There,
I
there's
do I do like this mod with the single um block airlock. That is definitely very cool.
there's
I
two
think
you
I'm gonna
can
have to
use.
incorporate it.
Yeah, there's two you can use. There's the rotary ones. That's the one I use, and then there's one that uses two doors. So it closes
Oh,
one
okay.
door behind you, opens one in front of you. The problem that I had with this thing is that the turning point, the when it goes yellow and you can press a button to change it, that's pretty far to the corners of the thing, and then you always run into the problem. The rotary airlock, the whole inner thing is just one activator, and then you can just press the button, it turns. The rotary airlock in that case is a lot better. Are you sitting down, or do you want to just...
I'm just, if we're not going to jump, I'm...
No, it has a jump drive, but we will not jump with a Duchessa. I think we can get over there without having to jump. She's so much more maneuverable than the big ship.
It's like night and day.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer.
If I get into a seat...
I sometimes turn it off so you can't control it if you're not in a certain seat. But
oh, that's fine. I'm not looking to control the ship. I just looking for some exterior views.
The Duchessa has some cameras, I think. Oh no, they all got destroyed in the crash. The crash, the getting this crash thing off the ground. When they brought in the new update, that was something.
That was an ordeal.
Different. Yeah, and I saw that you had problems with it, a lot of, and they made an update that changed some things there, and getting the ships now from the surface of a planet, no way. Without using, for example, the voxel hands. So now we are parked over the ship, and then now we can compare them. So it's just mostly triple the size.
I'm stuck.
Oh no!
What's going on here?
You're in front. There's a.
Okay, there we go.
You are out. There's a.
I think it was I just didn't have my jetpack on.
Ah, okay. Yeah, wow, it threw you out.
It's like a maybe a fifth of the size of the mothership.
A third, I would say, and then it's somewhere
Definitely
in the range. Somewhere in the range of the Empress, because the Empress was just the Duchessa but 3 times bigger. And I
definitely like the design of the Duchessa. There's just something about it that is very...
I found her, and
sleek.
I carried her with me the whole time, and that's why I'm happy that I have her back. Because
I remember that episode.
Yeah.
And that's why when I initially mentioned your name, when I saw it crashed on the planet's surface, is that the first thing I think about whenever I see this ship? It's that one episode where you found it, and you were just... amazed.
Yeah, it was the second ship. So there was this update where they introduced these encounters, and I went out and said, okay, I need to find ships, and I went out and I found the other one that you found, this big dropship, or the fighter.
Oh yes.
I don't know how it was called.
The transport is the Sharon.
Yeah,
I think
I found 2 of these, and I found a small fighter, and the next thing I found was the Duchessa, and the Duchessa I had to bring back because I tend to do my ships more in an industrial style, and I tend to not have a lot of knickknacks on the ships, and spikes and crazy forms and glowing crystal formations, something like that. And the Duchessa, I was whoa, this ship is brilliant. And I still want to at one point invite the maker of the Duchessa. I'm not sure if, I think it's a she, even still plays.
Stone Cold Jane Austen.
Yeah, Jane Austen. I don't know. I assume just from the name. So if it's not right, then... And Pampered Duchess always directly assumed, yeah, that's a woman. And I said, okay, then
Yes.
then I will go with it. And I kind of want to contact him, and try asking how she came up with this ship, because
Yeah.
I love it. I
It's
take
an
it
excellent
everywhere.
design.
Yeah, it's nice. It was a design. It was a design for a much for a much easier period of the game, because there was no airtightness and no
Yes.
jump drives at that point and nothing. And now we have to incorporate that all.
Yes.
It's so nice. I really like it. It's the one ship I wanted to always take with me. And that's the Empress, for example, had a way to connect the Duchessa to the Empress, so I could jump with her and take her with me. This ship doesn't have that. Maybe I should, but I wouldn't know how big it would be, the mothership, in the end. So
Oh.
and that's more now. At the moment, it's more in the original state of the ship, except of the solar panels and all this stuff. But the last Duchess I had was completely, not completely different, but I had so many things changed, and
Oh,
turrets
you
and
had hydrogen
tanks and
tanks
yeah,
on there and all kinds of stuff.
and
That's one thing that even helped me out in the very beginning when I didn't have, I would call it the builder's eye,
huh?
is that when I kept trying to make a ship, I was never pleased. So I would always find a ship on the workshop, and then I would spawn it in and just start modifying it and
Yeah,
trying to make it into something that I really liked, or improve upon some design or something like that.
yeah.
And that's where I started getting kind of ideas for the way that I make ships now. And I try not to take other people's designs and mess with them, but this one in particular, it's simple, but then do a little tweaking to it,
Yeah,
and it's becomes a completely different ship.
that's the thing. That's why I basically said, okay, I will make the Duchessa for my big ship. I will just make the Duchessa just bigger, way bigger. So
Yes.
I could bring a bit more form into the ship itself then. And again, I just basically took the basic shape, doubled it, not tripled it. So every block were 3 blocks then on the big ship,
No?
and that made the big ship so much more interesting, because the shape of this thing is, again, it's in my opinion one of the best ships. I don't like these crazy formed uh, yeah, ships with something flew around the um and
Ooh.
and it's I don't know, it's so, this thing got me. And again, the empress had the same shape. I liked her. And this thing, the mothership also has
It
similar,
has the hint
yeah,
of the Duchessa.
yeah.
It definitely does.
And that's definitely deliberate. So
Yes.
that's the thing. But
I don't know
we
if you recall from if you've seen any of my real early episodes when I had a ship called the Arcturus, and
no, I have to, but with a lot
that
of people, I have to go back into their archives and find.
I mean, you're gonna see some really ugly, like, engines and things, but um, Aragath, I think, is who created the Salvador. And when I saw that ship,
Huh,
that's what inspired me to make the Arcturus. And Aragath, as well as some others, had this unique ability to just make these fantastic looking industrial ships that are, you could actually imagine it in real life. They've done such a well with partially ground down blocks and everything, and repurposing thrusters to not be thrusters. They're just a decoration,
yeah.
and You do a fantastic job.
I'm not able to do that. I'm not so much of a builder that I could immediately do that. So I normally
I
see that
try.
somewhere, and then I try to incorporate. So I learn a lot, and that's what I'm trying with the big ship. So that I finally go into it and do something different and try to incorporate things that I saw on other people's channels, like your corridors. So the corridor shape definitely I saw on your channel, and I'm trying to now do more with it. And
Well, we all take a little from each other, and that helps us out and
that's
expands our creativity. And
yeah,
I
that's
think it's
how
all
it
good
should
stuff.
that's how it should work. And the thing with this is that there are so many builders out there that just can take some blocks and do something completely different with it. That I the mindset to go in and say, okay, now I stop taking the big blocks and I will make a connection, and then we instead of the big blocks we'll use the small blocks for the interiors or something like that. That's so crazy to me,
Oh, yeah,
and sometimes you don't even notice it that there's
there's a massive ship that I'm sure that you've probably seen on the workshop that's been reviewed by a couple of space engineers, content creators. That
give me a sec,
it's
please. Give me a sec.
phenomenal. Yep.
And we are back. So sometimes these long recording sessions have to be broken up, and now I don't know how long we recorded in this episode, but who cares?
Yeah. Well, we've spent the majority of it around the
Around the
Twitch
Duchess again. We are
on the
starstruck.
one thing.
We are
Is it my
starstruck by
fault?
one
Is
thing.
it
No,
my
no,
fault?
no, 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 no. That's completely okay. The good thing is with these episodes, I recently had a comment from someone that said, "Hey, maybe I don't change seasons. Some people do that. I think you do that too. So you are in season 3 or something like that. I don't
3, yeah.
change seasons because my recordings, I have this thing in my head where I think that I'm trying to make a history for space engineers, where you can see, okay, this is the development space engineers took from episode 1 to now episode 690.
You're almost at 700.
Yeah, I'm almost at 700. And I definitely want to go to somewhere 1,000. But
Yep.
and someone said, yeah, you
Well, a
should.
big party.
We will see how that works out. But again, I get a comment by someone that says, hey, maybe do that, maybe go and make the seasons, because people that start out with your series don't know where to start.
Yeah, that's the only thing that it was so hard for me to watch your videos,
Yeah, it's
because I couldn't sit and watch 500 videos, you know?
it's
The way
yeah.
YouTube does it
They-
and the way my TV streams it, I had to like search manually all the way through to the next episode that I didn't
I have a playlist.
see. So,
I have a big playlist. You can just
very
click
big
on the
playlist.
playlist and say, "Give me all the episodes." I have people that do that. So there are people that still watch me that started, that just took the time and started from the beginning. And now I think it's days worth of footage.
oh, absolutely. So I used to there's a couple other YouTubers I would watch, but I would be getting ready for work in the morning and doing my morning routine, and I used to work out in the morning before work, so I'd have it on the TV, and I'd sit and I'd watch one of your videos while I was working out before I went to go get breakfast and finish getting ready for work, and it took me months, months to get through them all, but
Yeah.
it was very there's a lot of continuity in all of your videos, so. You know,
The
if you watch
argument
from
the
beginning to
argument
end,
was
it's you can see the progression
Yeah.
of space engineers and the frustration at times of space
yeah,
engineers.
that was the thing I wanted. I'm back at the asteroid base. If you want to come
Oh,
to
okay.
here,
I was
you
wondering
don't
where you
have
were
to. You don't have to. It's just
was
I just
wondering.
wanted to let you know. So the thing with it is that again, I'm trying to be a bit of a history book, and that's why a lot of my first 500 episodes, for example, a lot of the time, someone recently said to me, "Huh, you don't have so much time in Space Engineers. I have 2,000 hours more," and I say that's okay, but for me, nearly every of these hours is recorded. So
Yeah.
I have it that you can see from the beginning Space Engineers Survival. I started the day Space Engineers Survival came out. So and then I never stopped. And you can see in the last few weeks it's not a lot of change because again there's not a lot of updates. But for the first 300-400 episodes you can see weekly
Oh
change.
yeah,
Weekly change.
absolutely.
How the game progressed and what it did and all
I
these
kind of
things.
miss those changes, but I mean, after a while, there's only so much they can do, on a weekly basis. If they're trying to fix a major problem, I'm kind of glad that they waited for so long to put out such a huge update that made such a huge impact
Yeah,
on
on
the
the
multiplayer.
yeah, definitely.
But
It was time. It was
yes,
time at one point because the multiplayer, the people that play multiplayer, they were the had the really the dirty end of the stick when it comes to that
oh
because
yes,
they just always had to deal with way more problems than I could imagine. I never played a lot of multiplayer except for these
no,
sessions, but that's not the same.
yeah. I mean, I did have one other multiplayer session where I brought in a friend of mine that I play Arma with, and just to show him around my ship, the Arcturus. And Space Engineers is not for him. He wasn't too crazy about it. But this is the second one that I've been involved in this multiplayer, aside from using my other PC for recording during my series. So,
That's the
and this
thing,
is this
and
is great. I'm enjoying this. We're just floating around and focusing on, one ship or another ship or something, but
that's what I
I'm
wanted to
enjoying the
say.
heck out of this.
These episodes are not only for you or to see the world, don't know, or to for us to connect and talk to each other. It's also that if you just fly around in the world and talk about the ships and what you have done with it and all this stuff, that gives people the ability to to kind of understand and kind of get a bit of a recap of how this all works. By the way, if you want to refill your oxygen or something like that, here these connector blocks here in the middle of the station, you can just fly into them. They are open and they still work as an airlock. So there's a medical bay here on the side if you need to
Okay.
refill.
It's been a while since I've been to seen you back here, so okay. I was up in the bridge
Yeah, the
looking
bridge.
at that.
We talked about that today. That this bridge would,
Yeah, that
without
it would not
one,
be possible.
no, without the
Because
major updates.
didn't this explode or disappear on you a couple of times while you were trying to create it?
It exploded one time because I had to change one of the mods that this thing used. I'm not sure if this thing will work at the moment because one of the mods is gone that I use. That is a rotor strength mod,
Oh,
and the
I've noticed that I think they've nerfed the rotor
yeah.
strength quite a bit, which I kind of is good, but
They have done some things to the rotor strength, and the problem with that is that this thing is pretty heavy, and I'm not sure if it will explode or so.
well, we
I I'm
don't we don't need to we don't need to explode anything.
I would. It's not a problem, but this thing was a pain to build because yeah, you might have seen it the whole ordeal with having to later merge the bridge in the middle and having
yeah.
to set up all these rotors and it I think
Having
it
that
will
many rotors and pistons can be a little bit confusing, and then all you have to do is just have one going the wrong way.
yeah, think about it. It came out before the Clang update. This thing was built before the Clang update, and then the Clang update came, and it made this thing not so explodey anymore. So the Clang update was a pretty thing that made a lot of difference.
Very, very extensive and very good thing for a space engineer.
Yeah.
At least for the multiplayer aspect.
And it counts for a lot. The vector thrust things work a lot better too. I did an episode with 1WSX10. We talked about that stuff really makes sense now with this Clang update and it's just
Absolutely. I've noticed a lot of people do use that vector thrust. But the only thing I'm not crazy about is how violently it moves the thrusters around. But in order to control the ships, it has to rotate, through its arc in order to vector the thrusts. So,
I had a lot of talks with 1WSX10 about that because I had the same problem, but he has implemented so much stuff that this doesn't happen anymore. And then this mod that we had with the rotor strength and all this made it a lot easier, so that these things fly buttery smooth now.
really, I probably need to build one.
You should.
I'll have to come up with an excuse.
I'm contractually obligated to make advertisement for the vector thrust wherever I can. I don't know if 1WSX10 will see that, but that's a great little mod or a great little script.
What can I do to put you in this today?
Into-
Come on, we'll cut down the price really low.
What do you mean?
Look, it's even Christmassy.
Yeah, it's Christmassy. Yes. Give me a sec. Turn on these things. See that the small thing. There is no violent flying anymore.
Less violent.
Yeah. And it's. I have a big on the planet. I have the Bison, and the Bison is a big ship with really big thrusters. There is a bit.
I think I remember that one. I think it's still parked on the pad down there.
You can get in and try it for yourself. I didn't. The thing, I think I share it with my factions, so you should be able to get in, or?
Oh, it says access denied.
Give me a sec.
You do not have access. That's okay.
That needs to change. No. That absolutely needs to change. No, not transfer, but share with my faction.
I'm just glad I didn't get shot. That's the only thing I was worried about.
There's no.
Wow, it is a lot smoother than it looks.
It is shaky sometimes, but
A little bit.
I can definitely get around that.
What's happening? You have all that mass that's rotating around, plus the thrust.
The problem is this rotor, the force the rotors can turn with. You have to be a bit finicky with that. For big ships, you need a lot of force to turn the rotors without the whole thing shaking. And
now, do you have to? Do you set the force?
No,
or
no.
Automatically set
The thing, the script sets everything. Now the script sets everything for you, and that's really great. This ship has not the newest iteration of the script, but I really like it. If you get Diggy's control mod and the vector thrust, then you can start and can build great ships. And then again, the having a rotor strength mod makes bigger ships possible.
Oh, okay.
and all these things.
I'm gonna absorb all of this knowledge for projects for the future.
You're playing on a planet. The vector thrust is for planetary use.
Yeah, I am on the alien world,
And the
and
and can you use atmospherics there? The atmospheric
yes,
stuff you can because you
and
have
actually
ships flying around. Yeah,
my reinterpretation of the Duchessa is
yeah,
fully atmospheric.
yeah. And the vector thrust in its first iteration was for the for for
Space,
not for
or was
space,
it
for
for
atmospheric
planet?
for atmospheric use.
Okay.
And so let me bring that back into a parking position. And that's why it works a lot better in the atmosphere. I try to always do this thing with hey, and that's one of the coolest things. One WSX10 tried to accommodate me because I try to use the thing in space, and then he definitely made changes that made it work a lot better in space too. Because again, it was just thought for atmospheric flight, and for
Oh,
that
that's great. And
it's
it's amazing that I mean that just to understand that coding language. I've tried to.
I,
I haven't applied a whole lot of effort,
I
but
always I always got reprimanded when I said it's magic. You're doing
it's
black magic. No, it's just programming. Okay, it's programming.
oh,
Just have to understand a bit of mathematics and things, and then you can do that too. Yeah, and that's the
wow.
problem. I don't understand that. So
Have you ever had any much use for your mining vessel here?
the big one
Now
or
that
the
things,
small one?
the big one.
I did definitely ice mining
I know
with
you
this
did for a
thing.
long time, but
Ice mining with
I
its
haven't.
thing is a lot better than going out, but it's unwieldy. And the problem is, I would need to change some things because it has the same problem that the small ones have too. That at one point the thrusters don't react anymore. If you don't have enough thrust and you get a lot of weight, this thing just stands in space still
Oh,
without
I just
using.
ran into something.
I did you die?
Yeah, I just ran into something.
Then let me rename this, or you can spawn in the.
I don't see. Well, I wasn't
The
supposed to do that.
It's no problem. Make yourself some new
Well, no,
tools and
actually,
some.
I should be able to spawn back at the mothership.
Yeah, you can spawn at the mothership, or you should be able to spawn at the asteroid base. The asteroid base should be
I'm
the first thing you can spawn at.
and I'm here, and I will find my way out.
I see you in there. You go through the ready room, and then you're in the big hangar, and then you should be able
Oh, that's right.
to just get here.
It's like I've not been here before. All right, helmet is on.
Yeah, be careful. Don't suffocate on me. That would be bad. Oh,
That would be bad.
we should make another break in a bit. So because I
Okay.
think we are running long with
Yeah,
this
there's.
episode.
I'm showing somewhere around 47 minutes, but I've been recording a little bit longer than you.
You're on 47 minutes because the first I recorded was 30
It's,
minutes,
I
34 or so.
think this. I don't think I've stopped recording since you turned the ship around. Maybe.
Okay, then oh no, then we are running a lot longer with this one, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
But
good
that's
with this
okay.
one. I recently noticed that my people don't have the urge to watch long episodes, but that mostly has to do.
Yes.
This is more like a podcast at the
Well, I
moment.
mean, you could split it up a little bit. I mean, we've changed subject matter from time to time. We came over to talk about the vector thrust, and we floated around the Dutch Esso. So
The good thing about the thing talking to another person is then that is more like a podcast. People don't have to completely concentrate on the video, but they can just listen what we say, and that sometimes lead to longer episodes being more palatable because the people then can do something in the background. But let me make the short break and then we come back for the next episode. I would say, give me a sec.
Okay.
So wait, first I should say, people, thanks for watching. One thing I didn't do in the last episode is plug your channel, and I will definitely put that in the description. Go to KMax, and if you are not subscribed to him, then watch his stuff. He is doing sometimes a lot greater job than me when it comes to at least camera work. So, people, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. See ya, guys.